In the heart of Europe, there's a country that officially does not exist. It's not on maps. It's not recognized by the United Nations. But Russian soldiers are there. This place is Transnistria. Officially, it is part of Moldova. In reality, Moldova has no control over it. When the Soviet Union collapsed, this region chose separation. In 1990, it declared independence. Soon after, a short but violent war followed. The fighting stopped, but peace never came. Transnistria became a frozen conflict. It has its own passport, its own currency, its own parliament, yet no country in the world recognizes it. There is one reason Transnistria still exists: Russia. Free gas, financial support, and permanent Russian troops. The population largely supported Russia. In a 2006 referendum, 98% voted in favor of joining Russia. In 2024, Russia cut gas supplies, factories closed, exports collapsed. The authorities declared an economic emergency. And for the first time, many residents are seriously asking, Russia or Europe? Transnistria now stands at a crossroads: integration with Moldova and a European future, or continued isolation as an unrecognized and collapsing territory. Its decision may shape not only Moldova's future, but the future of Eastern Europe itself. Previously, we explored Transnistria and its strange, unrecognized story, but the world doesn't stop there. There are other countries with equally unusual histories. Abkhazia broke away from Georgia, claiming de facto independence. It has its own government, passport, and army, yet only a handful of countries officially recognize it. But why does this small region matter so much geopolitically? And what is life like for the people who live here? During the Soviet era, Abkhazia was an autonomous republic within Georgia. When the USSR collapsed in 1991, Georgia declared independence. Abkhazia, fearing loss of autonomy and influenced by ethnic tensions, declared independence shortly after. From 1992 to 1993, a brutal war erupted between Georgian forces and Abkhaz separatists. Thousands were killed and hundreds of thousands were displaced. By the end of the conflict, Abkhazia had established de facto control over its territory. Russia plays a key role in Abkhazia's survival. It provides economic aid, military support, and recognition. Russian troops remain stationed here to maintain stability, giving Moscow strategic influence in the Caucasus. Despite political isolation, life goes on. Abkhazia has its own passport, currency, and schools. Tourism along the Black Sea coast continues, though limited, and locals rely heavily on Russian support. Only a few countries, including Russia, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Syria, recognize Abkhazia. The international community largely sees it as part of Georgia, making its political status unresolved and tense. The situation remains a frozen conflict. Abkhazia functions like a state, but its borders and sovereignty are not universally recognized. It's a region caught between independence, dependence on Russia, and ongoing tensions with Georgia. Abkhazia is more than just a dot on the map. It's a region with its own government, military, and people navigating a complicated political reality. Its story reminds us how geopolitics and history can create countries that exist, but almost don't. South Ossetia is a small region in the Caucasus, claiming independence from Georgia. Like Abkhazia, it has its own government, military, and borders, but almost no one recognizes it. Yet its story is deeply tied to wars, politics, and Russia's influence. During the Soviet era, South Ossetia was an autonomous region within Georgia. Ethnic tensions grew over the years, especially after the USSR collapsed in 1991. The Ossetians feared losing autonomy and clashed with Georgian authorities. In 1991-1992, a war erupted between Georgian forces and South Ossetian separatists. Thousands were displaced, and heavy fighting destroyed towns and villages. By the end, South Ossetia controlled its territory independently. Russia has been South Ossetia's main protector. It provides military and economic support and officially recognizes the region as independent. Russian troops remain stationed here, maintaining influence in the Caucasus. Life continues despite political isolation. The region issues its own passports, has local schools, and operates basic government services. Most of its economy relies on Russia, and tourism is very limited. Only Russia and a few other countries recognize South Ossetia. The rest of the world considers it part of Georgia, leaving it in a state of political limbo. Tensions with Georgia remain high, making its status fragile. South Ossetia is a frozen conflict zone. It functions as an independent region, but its borders and sovereignty are not universally recognized. Its existence depends heavily on Russia's support and ongoing geopolitical tension. South Ossetia, like Abkhazia, exists in a complex world of politics, war, and influence. Its people live in a region that is independent in practice, but almost invisible in the international community. A reminder that history and geopolitics can create countries that exist, yet almost don't. Northern Cyprus is a self-declared state occupying the northern third of Cyprus. It has its own government, military, and flag, but only Turkey recognizes it. Its story is shaped by war, division, and decades of political tension. Cyprus gained independence from Britain in 1960, but tensions between Greek and Turkish Cypriots grew quickly. In 1974, a Greek-backed coup prompted Turkey to intervene militarily. Northern Cyprus was established shortly after, separating from the southern part of the island. The conflict left Cyprus divided along the Green Line. Thousands were displaced, and cities like Nicosia were split in two. Northern Cyprus became a de facto independent region, though unrecognized internationally. Northern Cyprus is recognized only by Turkey. The rest of the world considers it part of the Republic of Cyprus. Its political status remains unresolved, keeping it in a state of limbo. Despite international isolation, daily life continues. Northern Cyprus issues passports, operates schools, and maintains local governance. Tourism exists, mostly from Turkey, and the economy relies heavily on Turkish aid. The economy is limited but functional. Trade is mostly with Turkey, and local businesses survive on tourism and remittances. Politically, it depends entirely on Turkey for support and recognition. Northern Cyprus exists in a complex world of diplomacy and unresolved conflict. Its people live in a region independent in practice, but almost invisible on the international stage. Like other unrecognized regions, it highlights how politics and history can create countries that exist, yet almost don't. Somaliland declared independence from Somalia in 1991. It has its own government, military, and currency, but remains unrecognized internationally. Yet it is more stable than many other regions in the Horn of Africa. Somaliland was formerly a British protectorate, joining Somalia in 1960. After years of conflict and a brutal civil war in the 1980s, Somaliland chose to secede. Since 1991, it has maintained relative peace and functional governance. The struggle for independence was violent. Thousands died and many fled the region. By the early 1990s, Somaliland had established control over its territory. Somaliland operates like a fully independent country. It has elections, a functioning government, and a police force. Security and stability are far better than in southern Somalia. Most of Somaliland's economy relies on livestock, trade, and remittances. Despite being unrecognized, markets are active and communities are resilient. Daily life continues amid political uncertainty. Somaliland is not officially recognized by any UN member state. Its independence is respected informally by some countries, but legally, it remains part of Somalia. Yet it functions as a de facto state. Somaliland shows that a country can exist in practice without formal recognition. Its people govern themselves, maintain security, and survive politically in a region plagued by instability. A reminder that not all countries on Earth are defined by international recognition. Nagorno-Karabakh, also known as Artsakh, is a landlocked region in the South Caucasus. It is predominantly populated by ethnic Armenians and has declared independence from Azerbaijan. Yet almost no country officially recognizes it. During the Soviet era, Nagorno-Karabakh was an autonomous oblast within Azerbaijan. Ethnic tensions between Armenians and Azerbaijanis grew over the decades. When the USSR collapsed, conflict over the region escalated. From 1988 to 1994, a brutal war broke out between Armenio-backed forces and Azerbaijan. Thousands were killed and many civilians were displaced. By 1994, Artsakh established de facto independence, though internationally it is still considered part of Azerbaijan. Russia plays a key role as a mediator and peacekeeper in the region. Ceasefire agreements have been brokered, but tensions remain high. Nagorno-Karabakh remains in a frozen conflict, heavily influenced by Armenia and Russia. Despite isolation, daily life continues. Artsakh has its own government, schools, and local administration. Communities rely on Armenia for economic and political support. Nagorno-Karabakh is recognized by almost no country. Legally, it is considered part of Azerbaijan, but in practice, it functions as an independent region. This unresolved status keeps the region in constant tension. Nagorno-Karabakh demonstrates how ethnic identity, war, and geopolitics create regions that exist in reality but not on most maps. Its people navigate a life between independence, reliance on Armenia, and ongoing tension with Azerbaijan, a country in practice yet almost invisible internationally.